All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting in order.
Okay, Page,
Here.
Walsh,
Here.
Wolford,
There.
Cummings,
Here.
Brad.
Here. And have anybody for public comment?
These two folks are for
The liquor.
yeah, so it's up to you if you want them to do their comment or if you want.
Let's wait until then, so we're.
Okay.
If that's okay, that's okay with everybody else. All right. The first up is there anybody else? Ken, did you?
No, I'm good.
Consent agenda, we have the board meeting minutes from the last meeting. Approval of $64,007.85, treasurer's report, investment recommendations, and approval of a resolution authorizing village officials to attend the 2025 IML annual conference, and approval of the amended application for Clean Up Hearts raffle by SJRF and Ideas Foundation. Are there any questions about any of those items?
Matt, do you have any questions?
No, I'm fine with it. I kind of didn't think I ought to make a recommendation to approve the minutes. Somebody else should since I wasn't here.
So I'll make a recommendation to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Walsh,
Yes.
Wolfersburg,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes,
Motion passed, 4-0.
Hold on here a second. Oh, my goodness. I thought that was printed over. Perfect. So I can hearts.
Which 38?
Liquor license. Okay, Joe, you want to introduce this?
This isn't an application for the liquor license, but rather just a way to organize the thoughts of the request, so you can consider whether or not to make changes that allow this. You got to ask Mark what would be required exactly to make these changes to your liquor code to allow this, but the applicants have summarized their thoughts, so it's up to you all how you want to proceed.
Would you get speak for?
Well, I guess I would like to hear, I'm not quite sure if you would like for me to explain to you what we're here for, and I don't know what part of.
We have talked, but they'd like.
Okay, right, yeah, yeah. If you don't mind, I'm gonna stay seated. I get that.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyway, I beg your pardon.
I'd like to hand out a package to you guys, just something I threw together late last night.
Thank you.
Put the face on who we are and.
Thanks, sir.
But
Okay. So, my name is John Workman. I'm from Effingham. This is my son, Nick. In the pack, you'll read we're a family-owned business. I have, another son, Sam, and two daughters, Jackie and Claire, as well as my wife, Lisa. I started the, Jack Flash, convenience store fuel thing back in 1986. I started with one store. We developed up to 20 stores now. And basically, we're here to discuss a pour license, which we call it a pour license. I think it can be also called an on-premises consumption license. I want to make it clear that we have these on-premises consumption license in a lot of communities. And I had mentioned to the mayor before that, this is, I don't know, somewhat of a loophole, and it's a loophole that the state has laid out there, and it's not something that I figured out and put together. There's probably, you know, without knowing for certain, at least 3,000, maybe 5,000, as many in the state of Illinois that have parlors and gas stations that have these consumption licenses. Now, oddly enough, with these consumption license on premises, you know, I know when I visited with the mayor first, he had heartburn with it because, you know, the thought of consumption at a gas station doesn't feel right. And I must say that, again, I've got them in probably 7 or 8 stores. I've got truck stop licenses, maybe more than that, Nick.
Around 11.
Okay, around. So anyway, I want to make it clear that we put a maximum drink of 2. I would say that the average would be probably maybe 1 in 20, maybe 1 in 50 would drink on premise. The gas station. It's not the reason why they go there. They go there because there's a majority of people that don't care to go to a bar to enjoy gaming, and we capture a lot of them. It's you know, it's been good for us. It's been good for the communities in the way of in the way of income, and I think that in St. Joseph, I'm 100% sure that people that do enjoy video gaming are certainly going out of the community to enjoy their hobby or whatever they like to do with their own time. And in the packet there, you'll see we just built a store in Pana, Illinois, and that was a random Saturday. I'd gone to Pana, Illinois, and I took pictures. We put double benches in our facilities, and most places don't have those. And there again, that was a random time on a random day, and I shot some pictures of folks that you see in there, and you can tell that it's probably a husband and wife or friends or whatever that came in to enjoy gaming. I want to make it clear on the core license that this is something that the state has developed and accepted. And so when I come in here, it's not unusual for the state to accept this. They will, absolutely, if I can talk you folks into allowing us to do this. And I can just tell you that we've been in your village now for 10 years, and we try to do a lot of things, to keep it clean, keep it well serviced for your community, and I'm just asking that perhaps you guys would take a look at this, maybe give me a positive nod on it. I've been a big tax generator for your community for a long time. I can show with certainty, if you'd like to see, that I probably collect somewhere around $70,000 a year in taxes that go to your community. I'm quite certain that I would be the #1 sales tax generator for your community. And if we were to get this pushed through, I believe it would be at least, it says there 60, that's projection. You can see that we have communities that we do better than that, and we have some that do less than that. I tend to believe that we'll do well in St. Joe with it. And it would be well over $100,000 a year in our participation to give your community a shot in the arm in the way of taxes, and again, I'm 100% sure that we capture a lot of them that are going out of town that other communities are enjoying the revenue from. So got any questions on this,
Yeah, I do. With open container, have you had any problem with people in the premise, get their vehicle in open container?
no, no, and there again, I assure you that, when I say 20, it's probably higher than that, and, I mean, has it ever happened? Maybe, I don't know, but, alcohol and, my really don't go hand in hand when I say that, it's just simply it's a, criteria the state has me do to. Okay,
But I did a couple of the others, yeah.
okay, did you see anyone drinking in any, yeah, it just doesn't happen. I mean, it just does not happen,
I could also speak to, our store manager Denise Hatfield up there would have absolutely zero tolerance for anything along those lines.
in regards to anything that would be road or,
Right,
unacceptable to,
as well.
she has, yeah, she has.
So that's the conjunction with.
That's, yeah, you know, because initially, when together, opportunity to gain in Illinois, they had two businesses that they targeted, truck stops and bars. And so, you know, the truck stop is, you gotta have 3 acres. You have to have 10,000 gallons more diesel fuel. And you have to have a high flow diesel. Now, I have a few of those. That's what I am in Pana, for instance. Now, on the other license, the bar license, there again, this happened immediately. I think it's been 13 or 14 years now. And, you know, a lot of guys went out and got their poor license. And they set up, and if you go to Champaign and you see some of these, what we call parlors, they're doing the same thing. And that's that they're not exploiting that they want to pour because they don't want to deal with.
Now, is it 2 drink? Is that just synonymous with?
Yeah, that's-
Game and parlor, or is that just your?
That's a Jack Flash policy.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, if anybody had to come in and you know, drink and get ruckus or whatever, it just wouldn't happen because we don't even allow that opportunity to exist.
Might include, pardon me, hard liquor, just beers only, beers and
Yeah,
seltzers,
just
okay?
beers, yeah, and for that matter, 12-ounce beers only.
Okay, perfect.
Can it be a separate room or how?
Yeah. Separate room with a, can speak to.
Yeah, we have at most all stores, we have an ID and we certainly would here too. It'd be closed door and it would be an ID checker. It's actually a pretty cool contraption. It scans their ID, reads the birthday, and then it sends a signal to unlock the door. It just makes a little tick, the door unlocks and they go in that way. We are very strict upon one person IDing and one more person going into the room. That immediately qualifies for the employee to go inside the room as well to card the other individual. And once again, I can't speak enough about Denise Hatfield and her team. We think the world of Denise. She's by far one of our best management in the company. She runs a tight ship. And as far as this goes, with whether it be compliance with the fire marshal, with the alcohol, tobacco, firearm, whatever, anything along the lines of compliance, Denise is the cream of the crop as far as our.
And as far as that goes, us as a company, we've been stung multiple times. Have we ever, you know, it just doesn't happen. There's a chime when they go through the door that draws the attention to the cashier to see who's just went in the door. It just, underage doesn't happen. The exploitation of the gaming even doesn't happen because, for instance, at this particular store, we would put it on the left of the counter on into the back room. It's got smoke glass windows. It's a very comfortable, nice lounge. But if you don't want to see it, or you wouldn't know it unless you were looking for it.
One thing I'd like to speak to as well is, you know, I don't want to make this long and drawn out, but about 7 years ago, it was about a month ago from my 7-year anniversary with the company. I'm still trying to find my way in the world. Just got out of college, came to up here to St. Joe to help manage and run the store. I've spent several weeks up in Champaign in a hotel, and I'd come to St. Joe every single day, Monday through Friday, and some Fridays as well. Working the store. I was one of the few, and Denise would happily tell you this, that had trained, worked with, and found Denise and got her on board with us. So I feel a special sentiment towards this community. It has a special place in my heart when I was trying to find my way in the world. And without all that being said, we do run a very tight ship over there. Denise does a fantastic job. It would be very nice for us to be able to reinvest in the community, as well as provide an exceptional form of entertainment. One thing that I'm super proud of with our other gaming rooms and our other operations is how we build and maintain nice facilities. We're not putting these games in window and putting a roof around it for everybody to see and be part of. We have a closed door ID reader. We'll have some cool light fixtures. We'll have some cool signage, some posters that really speak to kind of the gaming. A lot of our walls have some like Las Vegas wallpaper on it as well. This is not your everyday gaming parlor or gaming room. It's white and machine run. We really pride ourselves on the interior and our ability to market our product to provide a form of entertainment for those who are looking to video game.
Any other questions?
Well, do we, is this something that you had a question for Mark? We're gonna have to modify?
Yeah, before we get to that, I have two questions. Are you adding on to your or modifying the current building?
We'd be modifying the current building.
Okay. And can kids come in with guardians?
No,
Okay.
by state as well as.
We have here on out will have to be over 21. If
You're not
there's
right now, but
if there's an employee under the age of 21, they have to be accompanied with an additional employee that is over the age of 21. None in our company under the age of 20 allowed on inside the game rooms either.
And I guess my next question is to Mark, what do we do?
Tell me you want me to do this, and what we do is create an extra work license, and you just put that on your regular agenda and vote it up or vote it down. You want to poll you want to this or not, and
Right.
if you don't, then I'm gonna meet.
So we did this, does that limit us with any of our other stuff that we do, or would it be open for us, or like?
Well, that's-
Liquor licenses come with numbers and how many we can have and.
I think what Mark's saying is that this is an entirely different class than what our restaurant class would be and things like that, so you would only have one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any dog in this fight.
Right.
I can give you my comments from other communities that you can decide what you want to do with it, but you would create a new liquor classification, kind of like you've got class A for a bar, and then you have a restaurant license, and you've got a packaged liquor license. This is no different, it's just something like that. You can put extra restrictions on it if it, you know, there's certain things that bother you. You don't want it to be any bigger than a certain square footage, or you want to limit signage or anything like that, you can do that. You also, and you do this already, you would limit the number of licenses, so you could start it off and just have one. And And then down the road, you could make it 50 if you wanted to. If you have extra licenses available, then that means you never decide on it. The liquor commissioner just approves them and issues them. So a lot of communities that are smaller want to have the control on how many they're going to have. So you limit the number of licenses, and if somebody wants a license, they have to come in and then you amend the ordinance to increase the number. The kinds of things that I hear is looking at and considering this is they usually do a field with the existing restaurants, because now they can be the impression that this will shrink their stream. You'll hear the argument that people come in from all over the place, and adding another place isn't gonna reduce the income stream because it'll add more people. I don't know anything about numbers, and I don't know whether to believe it or not. I'm just telling you those are the different arguments you hear. A lot of communities are smaller than us, and they've got only maybe 2 or 3 restaurants and or a bar, and they're not making a lot of money, and so they're concerned about income stream and the impact on those places, and so they choose not to do it. So that's the kind of big picture analysis that I would get from other communities.
And I can speak to that as well, and that's that, I've seen that in a lot of other communities. Basically, what he's talking about is a lot of times a parlor or someone that is not really vested in the, you'll see the, and basically what I'm saying is that you go to Champaign, you see a strip center and somebody's not spent any money on the community. I would question whether or not they deserve that right to go, because then they actually, when they're a parlor, they affect my revenue, and not so much the bars, because J&J Ventures, the people that actually own the games and work with us, have proven that typically a parlor won't affect a bar or a restaurant's income, because those people have chosen to go and enjoy it with alcohol. And again, that's not our customer. The other that I may mention, what was just said as well, is that when you're opening up a gaming license, I am a restaurant per se. We fried chicken that we on some communities map to that, and that's you can have a pour license, you sell food. Well, I sell food.
Discussion.
Just given the atmosphere, I mean, for that matter, the gambling, we just approved a Queen Heart exchange. So, but I mean, it's just, I'm not against it. I'd like to see a change, limited to 1 for the time being, and then, each one come up, and like Mark said, I think we had the same discussion the last time. I think the rib cage wanted gaming machines, that it was taken away. So I think you're going to have that anytime.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want us to draw a poll, just ask, but we'll go for there.
I guess that's what I'm looking for at this point.
You want a motion for that, Dan, or what? Just a start.
Can I ask one question, Mark? Not sorry to put you on the spot. This isn't tied to gas stations in any way in particular, is it? Or is it just tied to any, like, it could be just a facility that has, they have no, all right, I understand.
Yeah, what they're proposing is legal. It's just whether or not you want to allow it in your community. That's your question.
Well, can we add restrictions on it to force, if somebody else were to come, say Casey's, we want to do the same thing, that it has to be in a separate room like they propose, or?
But that's gonna be a state law that already requires that.
How do we get around with these ones that just have like a no door, just rope? I feel like I see those sitting around.
It's a barrier, I think is the terminology for it. Any sort of barrier, like you mentioned, any sort of rope or that signifies this is an area.
It's an area that underage are not allowed to go.
But it's not a barrier, basically. It's over 21.
Can they add more detail to the specific
over and above.
That's
Right, you can't undo what's there, but we could make it more honest if you want to.
But for the issue of adding the core license capability. The water type capability. We do a straw poll.
Have we talked to any of our other places?
Well, two of the three are
Right,
open right now.
yeah, Rock was out there just when I came in.
No,
Just wondering.
I vote yes. That's my take. I don't think it's gonna take away from Rocks, myself, Ellsboro. I think enough to go around. And it's a different, like this gentleman was talking about, it's a different type of atmosphere. You're not gonna go in there to drink all evening and play all evening. It's a spot to go in and hop in and play your game.
As someone who never goes inside a gas station, unless it doesn't work. And I'll have to say, I probably didn't fully understand what this was, so, I appreciate all your research, your facts and your presentation. I'm leaning towards what they're saying.
I'm down, straight down. I was totally no when I came in, but I agree. It's much, more pure and yeah, nicer.
Now, would I like to see our dollar amounts go up? Yeah. So, I mean, thank you for what you do. I'm trying to be selfish.
No, it's a real thing. They will, it is. a real thing.
do we need a, we could just
I
add.
think you just hold yourselves.
Yeah,
I'll draft something up and kick it over to Joe. He'll put his 2 cents worth into it. You can put your 2 cents worth into it.
okay,
And then back out to the whole board. It's not gonna be very complicated, so I don't need a bunch of feedback. You can give me all the feedback you want. I think what we do is get something that's kind of, get the process out, and then at the board meeting, you wanna add something or just subtract it. We just talk about it as a board, chicken scratch on it, boom, you're done. Or you can say, think about, I talked to this owner on the street and, I wanna do it. That's okay too. You guys decide.
is that good enough? Good for this?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And thanks, Mark. Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna have back that from here.
No, the requirement is that you sit through the meeting. And by the way, that'll be in the ordinance.
If I can sit through it, or where you want me to vote on whether the water bill should be.
Lower.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Old business. We've discussed this, previous boards have discussed this. Previous mayors discussed this ad nauseum. This board's discussed it a few times since we've been seated at the election about the lack of.
There another way out of here?
Oh,
Oh.
right, no, I
That door locked.
There's a toll also when you leave.
stated openly.
The fact that there is a lack of a dedicated revenue source for Parks and Recreation, and Parks and Recreation in St. Joseph is I think, a priority for most citizens. At least a large subset of them. The parks get used a lot between pickleball, soccer, football, softball, baseball. I'm sure I believe festival,
Cross country.
cross country.
You need to add emphasis on pickleball.
Pickleball. They're used, our parks do not set unused. And as a result, things get broke, things need to maintain. I think, we're doing a little research on the parks and how we kind of got here, researching some of the older documents, and the sports complex has been around since 2000. So it's been 21 years, and in 5 and 6, they did development out there. So 20 good years on that, and after, the lights out. Few things around, but by and large, we've been robbing Peter to pay Paul by borrowing from the general fund to pay for the Parks and Rec. When did you, Joe, when did the board create the Parks and Rec?
We started doing that in 2020.
You've got figures there, on the back page, or second to the last page. On the budget from that fund. And, it's $167,000 in expenses a year. 174, then projected 179, 184. We've been having to make decisions about which project gets funded. Do we put new lights in at the park, or do we put in new, paying for the mold instead of us doing it, staff doing it? Or do we fix this street or that street? We've been having to make those choices all along. And so, given all that and the background of what we've been dealing with, I'm recommending the additional 0.5% sales tax to be dedicated to parks and recreation. The village could, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Mark, but the village could and has added 0.5% sales tax for the stormwater fund.
Yes. That's already
been done
for a
a
while.
long time. And when the grocery tax bill passed, the ability to allow non-home rule units to go up to 1% and an additional, for us, an additional 0.5% became available. And so I'm recommending that we do that. I'm looking for feedback, thoughts.
Well, I'm thankful that we're finally addressing the elephant in our room, and I do support this, and I think it's not going to take care of everything, but we have to start somewhere, and this is going to allow us to do that.
I would like to see that, I'm for this. We're gonna have to do, we've been doing it, we changed some of the funding dedicated to the parks that wasn't before. But like I said, it's been a drain, and we've had some pretty massive costs with roof, one thing and another, or even like improving the ball fields, different things. And it gives you the ability, it's still not gonna fund it, but it's gonna make it, you know what you're working with before we didn't know. I would like to see the grocery tax go up, just make it 0.5% period. But if we can't do that, then I would be in favor of the 0.5%.
Now, Joe, on the back page, you have the chart of where these other taxes or use fees have come in over the years. The telecom tax was originally supposed to be funding the parks. However, as people cut the cord, it's gone from 125,000 to last year 31,000. So we've lost,
It's small.
close to $90,000.
Just a small point of just clarification on that. I think the intent was just to pay the debt with telecom.
Oh, I think park bond.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a strategy for paying for the operations of the park other than to just weave it into.
And we had a $2 million park bond.
Yeah.
And it was paid off this year, last year.
So the telecommunications, to that point, though, on the park bond, it stopped paying for the park bond in 2013. And then every year after that, it had to be supplemented by the general fund. So we weren't paying the debt after 2013.
Well, you're paying the debt on the debt, but it wasn't paying any of the maintenance or other costs.
Right.
Right.
That was, just debt service.
Yeah.
Are you, in this chart, are we discussing putting the cannabis use in video gaming?
That happened, what was that, 2 years ago?
About last year, I
think it was last.
Last year?
Last year,
They're already,
It
they're
was,
already in it. They weren't before. The only thing was in was telecommunication. And we voted in favor of putting those two in to get a little more dedicated funding towards it. It's still insufficient, and that was a premise that we were exploring with the solar farm. There's a way to get it solved.
supplement that.
Yeah, but I mean, the board voted it down, you know, they wanted to keep the expansion, but this even had percent ain't gonna fund it. I mean, it's gonna be, it'd be closer to filling the gap, but it's not gonna. Just not gonna pay everything.
Well, it gets us farther down the road, than, we are currently. What do you think, man?
I agree. I think it's gonna be, minimal impact, with maximum benefits.
potentially a $300,000 capital improvement project over the next 5 years is if these estimates come in correct. What I'm projecting here. So that's not. You can't do, unfortunately, you can't do a lot with $300,000, especially in 2030. You're not gonna be able to do a lot with $300,000. Unfortunately, but that's just what you're looking at, like in terms of the net.
Yeah, but if we wait to put this off and wait till 2028 or 2029 or whatever, it's gonna be even more painful. So stopping the bleeding at this point, the earlier the better, in my opinion, but. Matt, what do you think?
I think we gotta do something. This is time to do it.
I can tell you, I'm never in favor of raising taxes. I always think we ought to live within our means, but this is a different thing. You've got people busting your chops about stuff in the park, and there's no money. Like you said, your choice. Okay, do you want street lights here? And they're retort a lot of it as well. I don't, you know, that's not my neighborhood. But you got to think of the whole city. So yeah,
We're gonna, here, right after this, we're gonna look at the Sidewalk Explorer program that. This will help relieve some of the pressure on the general fund, so we can start addressing some of those. Because I have gotten a lot of calls about the condition of the sidewalks and parkways as well as the parks, so. I'd like to make some headway on that as well, so. We have a deadline. And the deadline is October 1st, if we want to get this going on
So do you need a
January
motion?
1st. Are we have the ordinance here, right?
Yeah, just would need a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
Okay.
I would want to point out one thing in here that's not totally clear on its face, just so you understand. Sorry, I switched. 1 second. There's one section in here that says 1% as opposed to 0.5%. And the reason why that says that is just because if we were to send this ordinance back with saying 0.5%, then nothing would change. So we have to increase it to 1. So if you see that, somebody's like,
Because the 0.5.
That's what we have to report.
Yes.
That's part of the record.
it's not just natural to read that. So it wasn't me anyway.
before you vote on it, how's everybody feel about the grocery tax? Retain it as is? I don't see a very well consensus, okay. I just, like I said, that's my sentiments, and I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2025-015, implementing this non-home rule municipal retailer occupation tax at a 1 to be at 1%, if that makes sense.
To increase your total.
To reason total.
Yeah. And then direct staff to allocate the additional to Parks and Recreation. That'd be what I want. Does that make the motion?
Yeah, what you said.
Yeah, we don't want to be shaving this off or other stuff. It's got to go to this. Is there a second?
I'll say.
Any further discussion?
Wolfensberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes,
Walsh.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Painful, but necessary. Thank you very much. Brief overview of the Sidewalk Explorer. Jim, do you want to?
Yeah.
There.
This was a couple of years ago. This was set in motion with our, I'll take your seat then. This was set in motion with RPC, I'd like to say 2 years ago. And then you might have seen folks around town this summer and in recent months, just doing surface assessments of our sidewalks. So, can I click on this? There, okay. So and I'll send you all a link and so you can look at this and yourself. It's a really cool feature. But they went and they took surface pictures of different sidewalks. So this is West Evergreen. Actually, I'm sorry, this is still East Evergreen. It's apparently East Evergreen all the way to Mark Place, which is this north-south road here. But if you click on it, you can see, they have an image for you to look at, but then they score different areas. Like there's, different issues here, surface condition, all those different things. And the vertical fault count, and the maximum cross slope. So every year we approve the sidewalk raising, that goes into whenever there's an imperfection with how the panel is sitting, it could be uneven or whatever. So we do the sidewalk raising to hopefully even those out. And that's what that is. So if you look around here, there's a lot of different areas. Blue is good. And then, green's good. Red's obviously bad. Orange is kind of bad. Yellow is kind of bad. But this is a snapshot of 2025, just showing where our current inventory is. Over time, we've had some conversations about connectivity. So there's an area over here on West Evergreen, west of Mark Place, over to South Elm where the sidewalk is going in. We've had initial conversations and we even got that bidded out this last bid cycle to connect from West Evergreen over to South Elm. But those gaps, we don't have sidewalks. So those are areas where we could, add sidewalks potentially. What I want to show in particular is, so we go to Rantoul as an example. Okay, so if you look at them, they did this the first time in 2018, and I don't know if you can see, that's kind of in the way here. If you look at 2018, they had 2.4% of their total sidewalk inventory with a compliance score of 90 to 100. And in 2025, they have 8.1% of their total sidewalk inventory and a compliance score of 90 to 100. So they made improvements, basically. And this is the direction that local government's going. Most industries are going, where if you have data like this, you can show areas where you're making improvements, where you need to focus, things like that. But anyway, this was a really good thing that RPC did for us. And we used our hours that we get allocated to us on an annual basis to do this. But now we're in the queue. So we did this in 2025. And we can have future conversations with them when they go out and do a new inventory assessment sometime in the future, just to measure where we're at with it. But anyway, it's a great feature. I think sometimes
I love having people to make decisions.
Well, your hit list is right there.
Absolutely.
The not places where there aren't sidewalks, we probably should have them, and the ones that we do have, there's your top 20 or whatever, let's just, which ones are the worst based on the data. And that's the ones we target at the top of our list to get them, turn the red to green. And I think it's awesome.
I think it's great.
You know, they walked every sidewalk, took pictures of them, so. And rated them, so I think that's a.
Something in addition to the lifting the sidewalks where it's at. I mean, if you got a tree that's lifting it up, it's not gonna do a good mud jack until you do that way the tree. Was something I suggested to explore, and Savoy does this in places where you got an irregularity that's short, they grind that. And we have never explored that, looking at grind where you get it a little more level. So it's something, I think there's other options instead of just ripping it out. It might be to go ahead and explore some. It took a while to get them to lift the sidewalk, but it was a significant savings. We fixed a lot more sidewalk. But there's different things like that. Oh, yes.
I agree. There's nothing for us to decide or vote on or anything, but we want to get that got done, and I'm really.
I want to fix up so they can get into the new pickleball courts where they can go ahead and play.
That sounds like a lot. You need a question, all right.
When they can, there ain't a big difference.
Like village administrator like this.
That's all I got.
Mark, you have my report. Mike, anything from you? I don't have anything either. Any of you guys have something you wanna?
Well, I shared with you that circuit ride at Bellevue, which I thought was very proactive. It's something, I mean, it does, but they should look into. Later. Pretty good ideas. MTD buses like they could send the two people that's riding one every once in a while with that. So
Good.
I'm fine.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.